Anne Boleyn's story is one of love, intrigue, and tragedy. She captivated King Henry VIII, becoming his second wife and Queen of England. Born into nobility, Anne possessed a sharp intellect and a captivating presence. Unlike many women of her time, Anne received an education in the French court, known for its refinement and sophistication. This experience instilled in her a love of culture, fashion, and courtly manners. Anne returned to England as a young woman of grace and wit, her intelligence shining through. Those who knew her were drawn to her charisma and independent spirit, qualities that set her apart. Little did Anne know, these qualities would both captivate a king and contribute to her downfall. Henry VIII, consumed by his desire for Anne and a male heir, clashed with the Catholic Church. Pope Clement VII refused to annul Henry's marriage to Catherine of Aragon. This refusal only strengthened Henry's resolve to have Anne by his side. Driven by love and ambition, Henry defied the Pope and declared himself supreme head of the Church of England. This act, known as the English Reformation, had profound and lasting consequences. With the Church of England under his control, Henry finally secured the annulment he desperately sought. In 1533, Anne Boleyn became Queen of England, a testament to her influence over the king and the shifting religious landscape. Her coronation was a lavish affair, showcasing the opulence of the Tudor court. Anne, pregnant with the king's child, was the epitome of elegance and regality. However, beneath the surface of celebration lurked an undercurrent of tension. Many remained loyal to Catherine of Aragon and saw Anne as a usurper. The court was a hotbed of whispers and intrigue, with alliances shifting constantly. Anne, aware of the precariousness of her position, fought to secure her place and that of her unborn child. Anne's reign as queen, though brief, was marked by significant change. She was a staunch supporter of the Reformation and used her influence to promote Protestant ideals. Anne encouraged the translation of religious texts into English, making the Bible more accessible to the common people. She also patronized scholars and reformers, fostering an environment of religious debate. Her actions earned her both admiration and animosity, further dividing the court and the country. Anne's influence extended beyond religious matters. She was a patron of the arts and encouraged the development of English Renaissance culture. Anne was known for her impeccable taste in fashion, and her style influenced the trends of the Tudor court. Intelligent and politically astute, Anne actively participated in court affairs, advising Henry on matters of state. Her enemies, however, saw her as manipulative and power-hungry, fueling the resentment that simmered beneath the surface. Anne's time as queen was a whirlwind of activity, a delicate balancing act between wielding power and navigating the treacherous waters of court politics. As time passed, the hope that had surrounded Anne's rise began to dwindle. Henry's initial infatuation waned, replaced by an obsessive desire for a male heir. Anne, despite her best efforts, had given birth to a daughter, the future Queen Elizabeth I. The king, disappointed and impatient, began to see Anne as an obstacle to his dynastic ambitions. The court, ever sensitive to the king's moods, reflected this shift in sentiment. Former allies distanced themselves from Anne, fearing the king's displeasure. Rumors and accusations began to circulate, whispered in hushed tones within the shadowy corridors of the palace. Anne's enemies, sensing an opportunity, seized upon the king's vulnerability, poisoning his mind against his once-beloved queen. The delicate balance of power that Anne had so carefully constructed began to crumble. Henry, increasingly suspicious and paranoid, turned his attention towards Jane Seymour, a lady-in-waiting who had caught his eye. The stage was set for Anne's dramatic fall from grace, a fall orchestrated by those who sought to benefit from her demise. Section 5. The charges: treason, adultery, and incest. In the spring of 1536, Anne's world came crashing down. Accused of adultery, incest, and treason, she was arrested and imprisoned in the Tower of London. The charges, almost certainly fabricated by her enemies, were designed to destroy her reputation and eliminate her as a threat. Among those accused alongside her were 5 men, including Anne's own brother, George Boleyn. The inclusion of incest and treason elevated the charges beyond mere infidelity, making Anne a traitor to both her husband and her country. The speed and severity of Anne's arrest sent shockwaves through the court. Many refused to believe the accusations, recognizing them as the machinations of ambitious rivals. Anne, however, was trapped in a web of deceit, her fate resting in the hands of a king consumed by paranoia and the manipulations of those who sought her downfall. The charges against Anne were meticulously crafted to ensure her swift and absolute ruin. Adultery, a serious offense for any queen, was compounded by accusations of incest, a crime considered abhorrent and unforgivable. The charge of treason, the most serious of all, alleged that Anne had conspired against the king, plotting to murder him and seize the throne for herself. Section 6. Imprisonment and trial, the walls close in. Confined within the Tower of London, Anne faced her accusers with a mixture of defiance and despair. She vehemently denied all charges, proclaiming her innocence with unwavering conviction. Her trial, however, was a mere formality, a carefully orchestrated spectacle designed to secure a guilty verdict. The evidence presented against her was flimsy at best, consisting mainly of coerced confessions and the testimonies of those who had been pressured to speak against her. Despite the lack of substantial proof, the outcome of the trial was never in doubt. Henry, determined to be rid of Anne and secure a new wife, ensured a guilty verdict. Throughout her imprisonment and trial, Anne displayed remarkable courage and dignity. She refused to be cowed by her accusers, maintaining her innocence even in the face of overwhelming odds. Her spirit, unbroken by the weight of false accusations, shone through her letters and her final words to those who remained loyal to her. Anne's strength in the face of adversity only served to solidify her legacy as a woman of unwavering spirit and conviction. Section 7. A Queen's Demise, the Execution of Anne Boleyn. On May 17, 1536, Anne Boleyn met her end on the executioner's scaffold within the Tower of London. Dressed in a simple gown of dark grey, she ascended the steps with grace and composure. Her final speech, delivered with eloquence and conviction, proclaimed her innocence and expressed her forgiveness for those who had condemned her. She spoke of her love for her daughter Elizabeth and prayed for the souls of those who had wronged her. Anne's execution was swift and relatively painless. A skilled swordsman brought over from France at her request delivered a single clean blow. With her death, the reign of the woman who had captivated a king and defied a church came to a tragic end. Her body, buried in an unmarked grave within the Tower walls, became a symbol of the ruthlessness of Tudor politics and the fickle nature of royal favour. Anne's execution sent shockwaves throughout England and Europe. It marked the end of an era and served as a stark reminder of the precariousness of power and the lengths to which ambition and betrayal could lead. Section 8. Legacy of a Queen Anne's enduring impact. Anne Boleyn's legacy is complex and multifaceted. She was a woman who challenged the status quo, who dared to defy convention and embrace her own ambition. Her role in the English Reformation, while disputed by some, cannot be denied. Anne's support for Protestant ideals helped to shape the religious landscape of England, paving the way for the establishment of the Church of England as a separate entity from Rome. Her daughter Elizabeth I would go on to become one of England's most celebrated monarchs, her reign marked by stability, prosperity, and a flowering of English culture. Elizabeth's accomplishments are often seen as a testament to the legacy of her mother, the woman who fought for her right to the throne and instilled in her a sense of strength and determination. Anne's story continues to fascinate and inspire, her life and death a reminder of the enduring power of love, ambition, and the human capacity for both great good and terrible evil. Section 9. Anne Boleyn, in History, a Life Scrutinized. Over the centuries, Anne Boleyn's story has been told and retold. each generation reinterpreting her life and death through the lens of its own values and beliefs. She has been portrayed as a romantic heroine, a political mastermind, a victim of circumstance, and a ruthless manipulator. The truth, as is often the case with historical figures, likely lies somewhere in between these extremes. Anne was a product of her time, a woman who dared to challenge the established order and paid the ultimate price for her ambition. Her story serves as a reminder that history is not always written by the victors, and that even the most powerful individuals can be brought low by the forces of ambition, jealousy, and betrayal. Anne Boleyn's life, though tragically cut short, continues to resonate with audiences today. Her intelligence, her courage, and her unwavering spirit in the face of adversity continue to inspire, reminding us that even in the darkest of times, hope, resilience, and the pursuit of truth can prevail.